It's a little bit before 8. But I'm sure you guys will be in here pretty soon. It's all good. Vector today, guys. Vector. I'm just going to set myself up. Hopefully some guys will be in here by the time I've sorted it out. Hey. Sorry, Scott. Sorry to disappoint you. This is not your Vector. But don't worry. Don't worry. You will have one. Hurts. The Vector. It's funny. I didn't notice that until someone pointed it out. It is a Vector, not a vector. But you know, these things happen. I'm actually surprised that anyone in China gives any fuck about any copyright anywhere. That surprises me. But hey. All right. So I'm gonna crack on with this. Just gonna bust this down, take it apart. If you've seen my other video with the Vector, then it's going to be exactly the same. Would it because AEG make a Chris Vector? Don't you mean Chris make an AEG? Or the other way around, whatever. Like, I don't know why they did it that way. It's clearly some sort of copyright thing, but I'm still surprised that, because usually China just don't care whether they do it. Yeah, just do their own thing. Yeah, if you have already seen my video about the Vector, I'm doing the exact same thing. So sorry, it's going to be a repeat, but you know, this time it'll be live and you can talk to me and tell me how I'm doing it wrong, all that sort of good stuff. One of the things I quite like about the Vector, a few other blasters have this as well, but the Vector is just one of those. But it does have a separate little spring retainer thing. Which is what these two bolts are about. So basically these two bolts at the bottom here. There's one and there's two. Almost caught it. So those two actually hold this orange plate on the bottom, which is the spring retainer. Which, if you watch my other video, you would know all about, because I talked about it then. But it just means that you don't have to disassemble the whole blaster to get the spring out. You just have to punch these two bolts out at the same time, remembering that there is a spring in there. So once you punch the bolts out, it's going to want to come out at the bottom here. So that could fly out. All right, so yeah. If you did just want to upgrade the spring to a heavier spring, all you got to do is just undo two bolts and you can do it. Which is pretty cool. Scar's pretty good too. You just open up the stock and do the spring. And there's a few blasters that have got that feature where it's easy enough to change the spring. Because let's face it, the spring should be your first upgrade before you do anything. Change the spring. Before you do gearbox, before you do metal gears, anything, change the spring. Alright, what do we got? What do we got? This would be good for CQB with the drum mag. I tell you what, the last one I built was hitting 40 meters. So, man, this could be good for anything, even not CQB. It could be good for, you name it, any type of skirmishing. It's going to do the job. I mean, let's face it, it's a Gen 8-ish box, and anyone who's used basically anyone who's skirmishing is using something with a Gen 8 these days, unless they're using something with like the AEG style box, like the Well or the Gen 9. But let's face it, there's a limit. There's a limit to the physics of what a gel blaster can and can't do, and I think we are pretty much on that limit. You know, I think 20 meters is about as accurate as you're going to get with anything, really. Like, you're reaching the limitations of the gel ball itself. So, but I mean, we will continue to push forward and try to do bigger and better things, because that's what we're about, right? Tighter ID barrels. Okay, so word on the street about the tighter ID barrels is that I will have them tomorrow or the next day. That's the word on the street. Another interesting little thing. These are the little pathetic, tiny little pinky sized batteries that they come with. However, one of these little nanotechs easily fits inside, and these little Turnigy ones actually fit in there as well. So, yeah, easy little upgrades for the Vector if you want to do that. I have seen extended, like basically bigger battery doors as well, which allow you to have a bigger battery still. But yeah, these will get some decent life out of them. These things are pathetic. I mean, they're all right. They do the job. They do what they're intended to do. But once you start upgrading your blaster, these things just die after like 4 or 5 mags. Especially if you do a lot of full auto. Post out. Will you post out of ACT once you get them? Well, given that I am not the one who's actually making them, I will give you the contacts of the guy who does make them, and he can post them to you from, I guess, anywhere in Australia. I imagine. They're not mine. Like, I'm not getting any sponsorship or anything from this. I'm just happened to come across a guy who was making some barrels, and he has like a machine shop, and he machines them himself. And I'm also just sick of waiting for barrels to arrive from China, and then when they do arrive, they're bent because Australia Post has stepped on them or something. So yeah, don't worry, I'll tell you where he is if when the time is right, you know. What else we got? Yeah, 7. I think I'm going for 7.2. Oh dear, Jack, feel bad for you. All right, guys, I got to stress again. I know I said it before, but if you were taking these things apart, they have a detent in here, which is a tiny, tiny little spring. So when you do get them off, don't lose that spring. Just be aware. He says, as he probably is about to lose the spring. All right. So there it is. See that, guys? Let me bring it up to my camera that won't focus on it. There it is. Tiny little detent. Don't lose it. This magnet that might actually hold it. Hey, that's cool. That works. All right. Next one. Are you going to shoot up a school? Why would you even say that? It's not very nice. All right. So, I'm going to slide this top rail off. I don't know if it's best to go forward or backwards. Probably best to go forward. Maybe backwards. 6 one, half a dozen the other. Alright, so there's been complaints about this rail being too loose on the top. And these things here, actually, these two little nubs, actually hold the rail on pretty nicely. So I haven't had problems with one yet that's been loose or anything. The fake optic on the top of it is a little bit loose. It does slide around a little bit, but yeah, I don't think it's anything worth worrying about. I don't like those optics anyway. I'll probably just take them off. Must be American. Yeah, do I need to point out these are not guns? The worst injury you could get from this would be like maybe a bruised ego. Alright. You guys have got to keep me entertained, by the way. Like, just want to point that out. You guys have got to like talk to me while I'm doing this, because otherwise it's just going to get boring. This vector, I got to say, this vector is one of the more complicated blasters to take apart and to separate everything. It's all the tolerances are quite tight. I like this little piece of tape. On my first video, I said it was holding this piece on. I don't think it actually is. I think it's actually holding the wires down in there. But, you know, it is what it is. Good pizza. Alright. Give me some pizza. Where's my pizza? Okay. So, now the interesting part is this front piece, I think, is one piece, and it actually slides out forward. Just trying to remember how I did this the first time. How did I do this the first time? I did remove this spring. The quality of this blaster is pretty amazing. Someone was asking me about the FETs the other day, and I couldn't answer them as to what they are. So maybe I'll look into that while I'm here. They're just right here. They're just tucked in there so nicely. I don't want to mess around with it. Too late. Already have. Everything is tucked in there so nicely. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to venture off camera to read what these are. Not even then, I can't see it. Can't see what they are. Sorry guys. Sure, nobody really cares. Alright, there we go. That just sort of slides off. For what it's worth, the mag holding spring in here, it is like just a single little piece of wire. Can you see that? It's just one little piece of spring steel poking down there. You don't have to remove the mag release to take the thing apart. And so, insert valid user. This is my semi. Alright. Just going to pop this switch out just so I can get to it. Alright. Now I'm going to pull this barrel out, pull this cylinder out, and go wild on it. It was interesting to get apart the whole. Wow, there was so much shmoo in this gearbox. Like, can you see how much is in there? It's lacquered with it. This thing's pretty cool too. Have you guys seen this? This is the tappet. That's literally it. It just sits there. That's how it's installed. Just sits there. What is a bend test? Yeah, it's an incredibly short barrel, hence why it is ported. How good's the plastic? On the barrel, this, for what it's worth, this plastic barrel is the highest quality plastic barrel I've seen. Like it's got a small internal diameter and it's really stiff. I probably wouldn't even recommend replacing it with an aluminium one, which is exactly what I'm doing. So just do as I say, not as I do. Not yet. Spitfire. What am I upgrading? So I am upgrading, I'm changing the cylinder and the barrel and upgrading the spring. So in case you're wondering why, it's because I've been asked to. I think you'll find, Spitfire, I think you'll find that the mag priming motor runs fast enough for almost anything. Got a lot of play with the T-piece and alloy barrel. What are you going to do to fix that? Do you have a lot of play with the T-piece and the alloy barrel? Because I didn't find that a problem at all. So basically, with the mag feed, for what it's worth, the mag is feeding all of the time, 100% of the time. The only thing that's stopping it from going into the chamber, or in here is more correct, is the nozzle. So when the nozzle goes back, a ball comes in. So like the motor's just, the mag motor is just constantly spinning. It'll just constantly keep pushing balls up in there until time when this opens. .5 mil out of diameter. So this is 10 millimeter on this one. Wobbles around. I didn't notice that when I did it, but one thing is for sure, it's more accurate on single fire than when you put it into full auto. Once you put it into full auto, it's like all bets are off. Just sprays. What do you think I'll get on an M4A1 with these upgrades? Metal gears, shim double O-ring plunger, 29 centimeter alloy barrel, nylon metal ladder, green O-ring, stainless 1.3 spring. What, FPS? Do you want me to answer that question? I don't know, how long's a piece of string? I'd say with all that stuff, you'd probably be up around the 300 FPS at least. If you weren't, there'd be something wrong. Oh, sneaky hidden screw. Yeah, if my barrel's loose, usually I'll just get some electrical tape and wrap it around it until it's tight. Now, I did manage to get a screw stuck to the motor, which almost always happens because they're magnetic. These things happen. All right. I think last time I actually took this orange piece off, but this time I decided not to because I thought it would save me some time. I could be wrong. The amount of shmoo on this is amazing. Look at that. Put it back in somewhere useful. The outside of the cylinder is not really a useful place for it. Oh, right, you're talking about that. So you actually get a T-piece. So you get a T-piece, and then you try to glue a 9.5mm barrel into the 10mm T-piece. Is that what you're saying? See, that's where because I just reused this one. I just drilled out 9.5 mils into the actual barrel, into the T here. So yeah, I don't know. That worked. I don't advise it. Like it makes life difficult for you because trying to drill that out is a pain. But yeah, if you got to do it, you got to do it. I don't have one of these T's, and pretty much got to have this done by tomorrow. So I'm just gonna drill that out, put the new alloy barrel in, just be done with it. Yeah, I might put. Actually, that's where the barrel. This thing. What's the unit diameter of this? 10.5. Yeah. All right. So might actually be worth putting some tape in there. All right. New cylinder. And new O-ring as well. Green O-ring there, ready to go. All right. What is causing it to jam? How is jamming caused? Yeah, well, there's any number of things that could cause it to jam. Probably the biggest cause of jamming is busted up balls in the end of the gearbox, I think, as far as I have seen. What's your thoughts on getting an STD6? Is it worth it? Like I love the STD6. But is it worth getting at this point? Probably not. Like the STD6 was definitely good for its time, but I think right now there's so many other better things available on the market. So no, I'd probably not get one. I'm just I just store my O-rings on this cylinder, so I'm just taking the O-rings off. That's what's happening off camera if you're if you're wondering. Not that exciting. 32 people we've got in the room today. That's good. That's a good. That's a lot of people. Hi, 32 people. All right. Grease and Beats. Hi. 32 coffees. Yeah, I wish it was 32 coffees. Can you all go buy me a coffee? That'd be great. What gin do you recommend? Tanqueray or Hendrix? Number 10 though, not your generic garden variety. Oh, see what you did there. I actually know. I know that you meant gun. I just thought it'd be funnier if I said what gin I prefer. Bombay Sapphire, yeah, Bombay's pretty good too. Give you that. Give you that much. All right. So much shmoo on these O-rings. Get some more shmoo on my O-rings. Fortunately, there's plenty of shmoo to go around here. I'll just do a bit of that. There you go, look at that. Now remember, don't pinch your O-ring. Number one rule. Just squeeze it in there till it fits nice. I don't know how good that O-ring is there either. That one. Not real great, to be honest. That's a bit ordinary. I'm going to fix that. So I don't want to put this whole thing back together and then have it like seal really poorly. Because that's not what I'm about. There's an O-ring inside the air nozzle. This I don't even think this has an O-ring. Does it? I don't think the stock one has an O-ring. I literally think the stock one is just nylon on brass. I think it just sits on there. I don't think that it gives a really great seal. Yeah, it's not great. Ever bothered polishing the cylinder? No, I've never bothered. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying I've never bothered. Most of these cylinders are, yeah, they're pretty good. But anything you can do to get a better seal is good. So if you want to polish your cylinder, polish your barrel, polish all that sort of stuff, go for it. It will make it better. Every little bit counts. Mm-hmm. All right. that sealed up, because that seal was terrible. What'd you miss? Not a lot. Not a lot, just chucking a cylinder into the old Vector. It's not old, it's brand new. Got it today. Got it today and already have another on the way. Alright. So, we got a cylinder in there. That was the fun part. Getting this barrel out. Getting this barrel out sucks. It's unfortunate, but it's got to be done. It's glued in there. So I'm just going to have to cut that off. Vector's selling like hotcakes. Yeah, Vector's like, seriously, I can't hold on to these long enough. Like, yeah, they sell before I can get more. Could I recommend a gun? They're all the same, man. Whatever you like. They're all the same. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to heat up this barrel. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just going to Dremel it off. And Dremel it off. Be done with it. Alright. Now I'm not going to Dremel it right here on top of the gearbox because that's going to put all sorts of grinding schmoo inside the gearbox. That would be silly. Just going to do it off camera. Sorry guys, I just couldn't be bothered taking the camera off the tripod so you can watch me Dremel a piece of plastic off. I will share with you my Dremeling secrets. For cutting a barrel, I put it in the chuck of a drill, then I Dremel and I drill. It's pretty cool, hey? Don't try this at home. Vector or M401? Look, I'll be real with you. I don't like the M401 that much. Like, I mean, the one that I've got here at the moment is really cool. Like, and like the power of it surprises me, but I don't like it that much. I would have a Gen 9 over a Vector any day of the week. My personal preference, that's all. Alright. So, that's cut off. T-piece to gearbox. What about the T-piece to gearbox issues? I'm gonna fix them. I'll sort them out. What are the issues you're talking about? T-piece to gearbox issues. I want to know about these issues. What have you heard that I don't? O-ring and a 1.3. Look, the Vector in its stock form is pretty good. This plunger's in the wrong way. It's pretty good. It doesn't need a lot of it. Like the way that the barrel is, the cylinder is ported is perfect for the barrel. If you've seen my other video, the volumetric efficiency is just right. So, yeah, I don't know, like, why am I doing this? Because I'm being asked to do it. I probably wouldn't bother to do this to my own blaster. Oh yeah, it does need the case to hold it together. That's definitely okay. So I know last time I said that I prefer the Gen 8 over the Gen 9 because it doesn't need the case to hold it together. Right? Okay. Given that is true. For the purposes of putting it into any other type of blaster, like AUG or whatever, insert blaster here. You can chuck it in. But if you do have the receiver and everything to fit it into, I would rather have a Gen 9 than a Wells. Does that make sense? I mean, the Wells are no different. But, whatever. Alright, I am just going to get a drill bit. Now again, guys, I'm going to be off camera, sorry, but I'm just going to step this out to about 9 millimeters. And I'll do the final 9.5 with a more precise drill. And don't drill, if you're doing this, guys, don't drill straight through the thing, or you will lose your air seal forever. There's an ant trying to invade the motor. Is there? Here? Where is it? Have you attempted to make a vector drum mag? I could do it, it's easy. Do you want, like, it's not rocket surgery to make a drum mag. You've seen my video on the other one. It's the same, the principle's the same, right? Like it's the exact same principle. Same. You just do it with a different end on it. Do it with that end instead of the end that's on. Well, it's super simple. At least I think it is. Again, I apologise for being off camera. I just don't want to get all the drill schmoo in the gearbox, you know. Gearbox full of chad. No one wants that. Alright, now hopefully should be able to get a alloy barrel in there. In my collection of alloy barrels and pick one out. There you go. Just gonna have to clean out a bit of chard. Don't want that in there. That would be horrible. All right. Okay, so that looks like it's gonna work pretty well. The trick, if you do have to drill out a T-piece, don't drill through this piece. You only want to like drill out the barrel, the old barrel. You don't want to drill straight through into the I want to call it the valve face, or basically where the nozzle seals onto. Don't want to drill into that. That'll not be fun, because then you'll get no air seal. All right. What length barrel for vector with full cylinder? Do you want the actual length? The actual proper length, because it's, what is it, pi r squared times the length. So if you watch my other video, I actually did the calculations in it. I can't remember what they were off the top of my head, but I do remember that the stock cylinder in the Vector was pretty much a 2.1 to 1 ratio, and I think the Gen 8, so the stock Gen 8 barrel is 27 centimeters. The stock Gen 8 cylinder is actually way overpowered for that barrel, for what it's worth. So if you wanted to increase your accuracy on your Gen 8, just a small port, probably somewhere here, would probably increase your accuracy. Just saying. That's the thing. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hot glue this in. To get my hot glue gun. Wherever it is. Has been taken. Hot glue gun has been taken. Glue stick. Who uses hot glue? Hot glue is awesome. Hot glue is the best. Hot glue is like my favorite thing. Hot glue is my favorite thing because when you're sick of it, you can just bloody heat it up and take it out again. So, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with hot glue. If you use Sikaflex or Araldite or anything else, it's pretty much it's there for good, and you can't change your name. You can't change your bloody can't change your mind. I mean, if you pull things apart and change barrels and change shit as often as I do, then of course I'll upload it. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, if you change barrels and stuff as often as I do, then just doing it with hot glue just makes sense. It seals the air well enough. It holds it in there, and if you, like I said, if you want to get rid of it, you just heat it up and pull it out. No problem. No problem. The only thing you got to do if you are going to hot glue an aluminium cylinder is heat it up first. So you got to preheat the aluminium, otherwise the hot glue won't stick to it. Pro tip. I mean, don't let me stop you from aralditing your barrels in, or using Sikaflex or whatever other adhesive choice you have. Go ahead, do that. I don't like it works. All that's got to happen is it's got to seal in there with an airtight seal and hold it there. It's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be anything like super fancy. It's just, yeah, I choose hot glue because I don't like things being too permanent, because I like to rip things out and change it again, and exchange barrels, put a longer one in, put a shorter one in, put a whatever I choose to do that week. Can you get different distance from hydrating your gels in different solutions? I'm going to say no. And while that's not a definitive no, I'm going to say I've tried a few of the things that I've heard people saying on the internet of what makes the gel balls better and stuff. Things like, adding like soap. Okay, soap's got its place. I'll give you that much. A little bit of soap in the solution afterwards, just to make them a little bit slippery. That's pretty good. Like filtered water, hot water, cold water. I've heard some people say. Pardon me. I've heard some people say they soak them in hot water, and then once they've swelled up, they put them in alcohol or something. I haven't tried that. I don't see the point. But what I have tried is the hot water. Someone was saying hot water makes them harder or something like that. Pardon me. Look, all I can say is hot water makes them swell up faster. Cold water makes them swell up slower. Hot water, if you're in a rush, like hot water from the tap, not boiling, but hot, like 40, 50 degrees. Pardon me, I got the sneezes. It's it doesn't change how hard or soft they are, whether you make them in hot water or cold water. It makes literally zero difference. It will swell them up faster in hot water, but if you swell them up too fast, they will split. Like they just sort of because they expand too quickly, they split. And so if you put them in like really hot water, they just like they just all tear apart. So your balls are pretty much useless. But warmish water, the best results because it's quickest. And if you want like super accuracy, cold water, if you've got time, use cold water because they swell up slowly and they don't split as they're swelling. And that's pretty much the end of it. Like there's no benefits to having like warm water. You're not going to get a more it's all bullshit. Like you don't get a harder ball from soaking them in hotter or colder water. It's just it makes literally zero difference. I've done the tests and it makes no difference. And I don't store any of my balls in the fridge either. I don't believe that any temperature of water makes them more consistent. Except I would say maybe in cold water because they actually expand slower. They're less likely to split. If they expand too fast, they split. And if you have a split, obviously it's terribly inaccurate because it just like flies like a banana. If you'll just pardon me, I just got to blow my nose. All right, I keep all my balls at room temperature in water in milk bottles. I'm not saying room temperature is better. I'm just saying it makes little to no difference. Like I've always stored my balls in room temperature in water in milk bottles. Not sometimes not even fully submerged as long as there's some water in the bottle. Like I don't. I've got I've got bottles of gels that I've had sitting there for months and yeah. Um, I do not recommend freezing them because they're probably not going to be good for them. I have done some tests where I like my balls at room temperature. Yeah, I have done some tests where I just chucked them in like the hottest water, like boiling water, like just not quite boiling, but just under boiling water. And yeah, they swell up real quick, but then they just go and just split. I haven't had. I mean, I keep them in a sealed bottle, so like I don't, uh, I don't think they stink. I have. No, I mean they might inside the bottle. Who knows? I don't open them up and smell them. I have got a pile that I've had sitting around here for I want to say almost a year. I want to say almost a year because they were the first bag of gel balls I ever bought, and I bought them before I even owned any gel blasters, and I bought them not even knowing that I was going to own gel blasters in the future. I just bought them for fun, and they were a bag of those multicolored ones that are all like various different sizes, and they've been in Ziploc bags with water for like over a year. And like, hang on, let me grab some. Okay, I've just grabbed a handful of them right now. They don't stink. They're slippery as hell. They're very soft, but they're just really cheap gels. These are like, you can't use these in a blaster because you can tell they're all different sizes. Like this one's like 11 millimeters, and then this one's like, I don't know, maybe 7.5 or 8 millimeters. And yeah, they're just meant for fun rather than for gel blasters. But I've had these in a Ziploc bag for over a year, and there they are. They're still there. They're still doing their thing. This one's broken, but it's probably more to do with being squashed than anything else. Have I tried black? No, I haven't tried black because I don't know. I just don't bother buying anything but Milkies these days. Oh yeah, could fill a gel grenade with them, I guess. I let my kids play with them. Like, I don't know what to do, and I'm just like, hey. Have you tried the new red gel? I think you can only get them in Queensland. I haven't tried red ones. Yeah. I'm hesitant to buy gels from stores that reckon they've got the shit and they're the only ones who have it, and it's like competition grade and all this sort of bullshit because yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, if they can back it up with something, then yeah, sure, all well and good. But I don't know, like from all the gels that I've tested, they're all pretty much the same, more or less. And I always just go back to Milkies. Always back to the gold bag of Milkies. That's pretty much it. I did hardness tests on the Milkies, and the Milkies were pretty much at least, I think, 2 times harder than any of the other balls. I mean, I had to squeeze that very, very hard just to break that just then. I haven't tried these other ones, these new ones. We'll see. M4SS refuses to shoot Milkies. Could be due to the fact that the M4SS may have a larger barrel and the Milkies are too small for it, maybe? I don't know. Alright, so this gun is heated up for long enough. Just going to heat the barrel. Some blasters just don't like some gels. I bet you anything you like. Oh, John just beat me to it. John just beat me to it. I was about to say, I bet you anything you like that the orange ones from STD work best in the M4SS. But yeah, there you go. I was right. All right. So there we go. Get that barrel glued up. I'll just give it some time to cool down. All right. I got this today too, just for science. Yeah, try that. Chuck it in something. Your P90 is not too happy with Milky's either. I don't think... Are your blasters stock? Or are they heaps modded? Because I don't think any stock blaster really likes Milky's. I'm pretty sure Milky's just don't really go that well on stock blasters. With stock blasters, I usually use the STD orange. And then once you start getting some mods in and aluminium barrel and all that sort of stuff, then that's when the Milky's come in and start to shine. All right. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think sort of comes down to personal preference and what your blaster likes. I found that on most of my stock blasters, I'll use STD orange, and anything that's got a bit of mods to it, I'll use Milky's. All right. That will go there. Nice. All right. So what have we done? We've done a cylinder, we've done an O-ring, and we've done a barrel. And we will do a spring. That'll come last, obviously, because you put the blaster back together when you do the spring. All right. Let's whack this back together. I have to apologise again, guys. I got a bit of a sniffle. I got to blow my nose. All right, so we're going to pop this thing back together. Now, as always, when putting a gearbox together, you just got to make sure all your shafts get in the holes. That is the main thing. Get your shafts in the hole. Warfet, what are you putting it in? No. The Warfet's going to go in the wells, M4. For no other reason than I want to calm it down a bit, because it's like the fire rate is ridiculously too fast. So it's, yeah, I think it's just going to be nicer with it's going to be nicer with the MOSFET, so that I can just wind it back a bit. I like how that's how you install that. It's like, there you go, installed. That's it. Just so it just sits there. Yeah, that's how it works. All right. So now, just gonna make sure all the shafts are in. Everything lines up. That was almost a little too easy. How come everything just lined up? That doesn't happen. New P90. Wait for the 460 go. Does the new P90 not have the 460 motor in it? Did you know that? Video killed the radio star. Because I know you guys have seen this. I know you guys have seen this 100 times, right? But this is what I assumed was the P90 gearbox. The new P90 gearbox. And it is obviously a 460 motor gearbox. So do they not come with these? Because I thought that's what this is from. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I was thinking about buying one for science. Because God knows what I need is another blaster, right? Motor faces the front. Okay, interesting. So it's not... Alright, so... This gearbox is awesome, by the way. I actually want to overspring the hell out of this gearbox to see what it can take. Because I am almost certain it can take a lot more than what we're giving it. So much grease in this gearbox. See, I'd like to think that there's something to be said for the thickness of a spring, but we all know that's not true. That's what's coming out. That's what's going in. So, should I just make it ridiculous? Fuck it, let's make it ridiculous. Let's put this in it. Let's do that. Should I do that? I'm going to do it. I mean, it's not like it's too hard to take it out afterwards. Let's do it. Hit you with gel, I will. All right. Yeah. That all seems to be functioning. Need another. Some screws here. Well, that will slow its rate of fire and probably strip the gears. Cool. Well, that's what I'm aiming for, right? Strip gears. That's the goal, right? That's the end goal. I love it when people tell me what I can't do because that makes me want to do it even more. Alright, so alright, there's one more screw and it goes there. Feel as if one of these screws is a bit shorter than the others, but they all seem to be the same length. Alright, there's a lot of screw in there. Want that plunger down. And I can't get it. What about the plunger ladder? You can't change a plunger on the Vector with another plunger because it's a different plunger for what it's worth. I Oh, there we go. Got it. So the ladder gear actually starts some way up. Not right on the end. So, and plus it's got that little clearancing there as well. So that has to be taken care of. Alright, I don't need that anymore because I don't need to run it just yet. And last one in the front. I feel like this, I'm taking a lot of screws out and putting them back in again and everything. Aha, there it is. Felt like that screw was too short and all the others were too long. There we go. That's the one. Two short screws in the front, long screws in every other one. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, screw there, probably one under this tape. Okay. That's there, that's there. Let's get this piece back on. Don't forget to put your little tappet pusher on, which I can only imagine is actually held in by this, because it just sits there. It's not actually affixed to anything, just goes in there like that. All right. The return spring on this is a little bit of a pain. So it goes over this. This is for the mag primer. Might have to get in there with some tweezers perhaps. Alright, that worked. And then a screw. It's kind of cool that they actually put screws on the return springs, because I know a lot of companies just hook them over little posts and then rely on everything else that holds the blaster together to hold them together. Alright. The way this all goes together is actually, like, it's pretty nice. Like, it's not some blasters just have everything getting in the way, wires getting in the way. Man, STD6 is worst for wires getting in the way. It's got like wires getting in the way everywhere. This has little cutouts everywhere a wire goes through, so the wire goes in there, there's a little cutout. Wire goes down here, there's enough room, everything's got enough space. Sorry I didn't get the name of those fets, but I'm not going to bother ruining the chi and pulling it all apart just to look at part number of FET. Sure, we'll find out one day. All right, all goes back together pretty easily. Main thing to remember is all the gearbox screws are the short ones. So the little short screws all go into the gearbox, and the long ones are these ones. Sorry, where are we? Mantle gear, shimmer, vertex, middle finger. Try it standard. 1 more 5, 10. Can you Fresnel it? Fresnel? What's Fresnel? Dremel. Dremel. What am I dremeling? That barrel. That's not where that goes. Now, the reason behind the barrel is because it actually lives inside this suppressor. That's why it's so long, for what it's worth. This was the request of the owner. It's talky, more springy. All right. I don't mind the charging handle. A lot of people complain that it's a bit flimsy. It is a bit flimsy, but as long as you're not swinging on it, like, and you're only doing it to actually just to charge the mag, you don't have to reef on it. It's not like you're HK slapping it. Okay. A couple other shorties. The rest are all long. Okay. The other shorties are for the switches. All the rest are long. Looking at a Vector V2 board, and oh, you can't see any identifying markings on either FET. Yeah, that's China for you. They go buy a FET, whack it in there, and then they like sand off all the markings so you can't tell what FET it is. But I bet I know what it is. I'm willing to bet that it is a 150N03. If you look that up, you'll probably find it's a 30 amp FET. I bet. Can you do a G36? Can I? Yes. If I had one to do. I kind of wanted a G36. I wanted a G36K. And can't seem to see them anywhere. And I know that the ones that do exist are kind of crappy. So I'm just biding my time on that one. I'm sure someone sooner or later is gonna come up with a G36, like a new gen G36, because hey, not that the old gen G36s were bad, because they were quite good. For all intents and purposes. I want to see a decent bolt action snipers. There is no such thing. It is, yeah, they're all kind of garbage, all the bolt action ones at the moment. The new M24 is coming out soon. I'm not holding my breath. Look, I'm going to just put it out there right now. There will never be a decent bolt action sniper gel blaster. And the reason for that is because, not because they can't make them, because I mean there's decent airsoft bolt action snipers, but the problem is the gel itself. Your gel balls aren't accurate enough to be useful over any sort of sniping range. You just, like, yeah, that's the sad truth. Don't let me spoil your fun. You go out and get that bolt action rifle and you upgrade it and you make it awesome, and then you come back and you show me how awesome it is. Because I'm not telling anyone what they can and can't do. Why is this so hard to get in? Oh, there we go, it's in. Can we see your Mark 12? Yeah, if you want. Haven't you seen enough of it? How can we ever see enough of that? I find it funny, I show up at skirmishes with the Mark 12 and people take one look at it and say, I'm on his team. But the reality of it is, it's no different to this. It's no different to the Scar. It's no different to the M4A1. They're all Gen 8s, you know, like they're all. It's just appearance. It's just appearance. Let me put this thing in. All right. Gonna have to speak up. It just started pissing down here. It's pissing down here too. Well, at least it was today. All right, only 2 more things to do. The little switches and the detents that go with them. All right. All right, what are the predictions? Do we have predictions? Because I'm 1 screw away from chronoing this. I think somebody predicted that the battery wouldn't even wind the spring back. Okay. Something's gone wrong here. In a way that I didn't think would be possible. This switch is a keyed switch, so it can only go one way, right? How is that the wrong way? Could the switches be different in the front and in the back? Doesn't seem like something that would be done. but apparently it is. They are a pain in the fact that they've got this little detent in them. The detent is the painful part. Just got to make sure you don't lose it. Alright, so something's not right here. What's happened? So, it can only go one way. That is the way. Search. Okay, no, that's right. Detent in. It just seems it's not real happy. All right. Chuck the battery in, stock battery, because try the stock battery first. Did we start early today? Are we ending late? Sounds pretty good. 3 shots. Alrighty. I think the best thing to do now is to chrono it. Which I will do for you guys on the bench. I don't usually do it on the bench, but I think it's just going to be easier on the bench. All right. Primed. All right. This is awkward. Tripod in the way. Alright, here we go. Can you guys see this? Probably not. That was a 3-shot burst. Now guys, I don't know what just happened. And I'm not claiming this is realistic at all. But let's try that again. I think I'm going to call that an anomaly. Oops, shooting the box again. All right, yeah, so that's more realistic. That's a bit more realistic. I don't know what happened. We had an anomaly. Yeah, so more realism. That's I don't know what happened with that other reading, but yeah, so we're pushing about 300 FPS out of that one, which is more realistic. Man, I'm gonna have to get a screen grab of that 480 FPS job. That's great. Whack that on the forums. Hey guys, 480 FPS here. Yeah, 313 there. All right, cool. What else are we gonna do? It is a 27 centimeter barrel. It's not a 30. Like a 30 might be better at yeah, it might be more efficient, I think, but this particular barrel is chosen for that size purely for one reason, and that reason is because that barrel and this hop up are precisely the right size to fit inside this suppressor. That's the reason. It's not about efficiency, it's about convenience. I'm going to drill this out, and then so that the hop up can actually live inside the end of this suppressor. And yeah, so it's literally got nothing to do with efficiency, it's just for convenience. But I see what you say. It is a little bit loose in there. I will wrap some tape around there so that when this barrel sits on there, it'll hold it tight inside that barrel, which will give it some support, make it a bit more accurate. Yeah. Actually, with 35, did we have more earlier on? 35, I think. I don't know. Either way, I think I'm going to call it a night with that for now, unless you guys have got some real pressing questions for me. Otherwise, I am going to call it a night. Anything? Chrono with hop up. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I'll do that because that's easy. I can do it because it's right here. Alright, let's make sure the hop-up's attached firmly. Alright. Sorry, the hop-up and the blaster and everything is right where the tripod for the camera is, so bear with me. How much FPS did it lose? Not much, apparently. Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot. Alright, I'll leave it there, eh? Call it a night, and I'll catch up with you next time. What else we got? Connor was before doing my vector build tomorrow. Anything important to watch out for? Losing the detents, pretty much. Do I expect it to last? Yes. You know why I expect it to last, and you know why I have no problems whacking the spring into this vector? Because the build of this gearbox and just the way it's designed with the cylinder on the angle like this and everything in here is solid as fuck. Like, it is so much more solid than a standard Gen 8 gearbox. I'd even go as far to say... I go as far to say it's probably even more solid than one of these nylon Gen 8s. And I have run absolutely rock stock plastic geared Gen 8 gearboxes with massive springs in them forever, and they don't break. Like, I have had the odd plunger split here and there, and I have had a couple of sector gears randomly. Even on stock blasters, I've had sector gears break. This particular gearbox was completely stock. This is like the inline Gen 8. You can see the sector gears split here. So this is completely stock. This is stock spring, stock gearbox, everything, and the sector gear split. I've had another Gen 8, the normal Jingming Gen 8, with a split sector gear off a stock spring. And then, on the flip side, I've had the standard plastic gears with massive springs, 1.4 springs in them and everything. Run them all day, every day. 280 plus FPS. And they just don't break. I'm telling you guys right now, I don't upgrade my gear sets very often. Like, it's not something I do because it's futile. Like, you can buy a Metal Gear set, you can buy a plunge, you can buy all this stuff, you can do all this stuff. Yeah, it's all great and it gives you these strong gearboxes. But like, a standard box is like, what, $35? So you could spend $200 on a box, or you could just buy, like, I don't know, 5 standard ones and just break them as many times as you want. Like, I honestly don't see the point in spending lots of money where it's not necessary. My Mark 12 runs a 7.4 volt battery. Again, it runs a 7.4 volt battery because I like it to be slow. Like, a lot of people comment when they see my videos in my skirmishes, they're like, your Mark 12 sounds like it's struggling, like the battery. And I'm like, yeah, it is, because it is struggling. It's only using a 7.4 volt battery. And that's because that's how I like it. I just like it to be slow. I don't want a marksman rifle to be submachine gun speed. Like, the Vector is 11 volts, by the way. Yeah, it is 11 volts standard. I don't want my marksman rifle to be you know, submachine gun speed. I could. It's a Gen 8 box. I could make it 11 volts. I could do it. The only reason I would go to 11 volts is if my spring was so big that the 7-volt battery wouldn't pull it. And that is why. I mean, if I went to an upgraded spring, I might, but I don't. I mean, my Mark 12, I think it was chronoing. I think it was chronoing around 280 FPS. So it's not the most powerful thing. It's not designed to be the most powerful thing. It's designed for accuracy. And I mean, that's what I do. What I do for other people is whatever they ask me to do. Like everyone else wants like ridiculous fire rate and ridiculous springs and they want 350 FPS and like that's great. I love 350 FPS. It's awesome. But can you fit the vector MOSFET to other ballasts? Hell yeah, of course you can. Why not? Anyway, yeah, like the only reason that I do certain things certain ways because that's what people want. I mean, I love having like ridiculous amounts of FPS on a blaster. That's cool, but I mean, is it necessary? Not really. I mean, I don't think 350 FPS blaster is getting that much more range than my, say, 280 FPS blaster with a decent hop up and a proper like tuned length barrel and everything. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. If you want a ridiculous, heaps powerful, lots of FPS blaster, then yeah, props, go do it. I mean, it's cool, but it also, I don't know, it doesn't. It's not the be all and end all to have lots of FPS. But you know, people want what they want. All right, guys, it's been like 2 hours now, so I'm gonna call it quits. Summersby, personally, that's just me. Personal choice. I don't know. Anyway, all right. I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my shit. Buy me a coffee. I'm gonna put a video up very shortly about SRS site that I reviewed from gelballmod.com. I put it on the M401 with 360 FPS and did a range test at 20 meters with a red dot sight on it. So yeah, sub because that's coming. I'm probably going to upload that tomorrow. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. It's good. It's a good video. Hey, that's it. Optic reviews would be fantastic. Yeah, like as soon as I get them, I'll review them. That's not a problem. Thing is, like I don't have like unlimited amounts of cash to just buy every optic so that I can review it all for you guys. I'd love to. I mean, I want to do it. I do all this for you guys. Like, I'm not getting paid or anything for it. So, all right, man. Catch us all later. Peace out.